But Harrington is a top 100 prospect and considered one of the better prospects in baseball. Pirates also made an interesting trade last night. For more on all of that, in my opinion, the best prospect mind writer in all of baseball joins us right now on the fan hotline, Keith Law from The Athletic. Keith, what do you make of Thomas Harrington? What kind of prospect is he?
Yeah, he's not a top 100 prospect, just to correct you a little bit there.
Well, some of the tweets that went out put him in the top 100, so I'm going to have to
maybe somebody else has him there. You got me on the show, so I'm going to tell you, he's not on mine.
Okay.
I had him sixth in the system. He's a command guy who's got a lot of average stuff, and it's not a criticism at all. He's generally been about 91, 94. He's been kind of the same guy since they took him out of college a couple of years ago. And he doesn't really have an out pitch. The strikeout rate is pretty good in the minors, mostly because he's got great locations. It's not just strikes, which we would call control, but command, that he locates all his pitches particularly well. He's got a 4-pitch mix. The changeup is probably the worst of them just because he tends to throw it pretty hard, but it's a good enough pitch, at least, that he certainly projects as a starter, and he had no platoon split at all last year. I wrote preseason, I thought that the command was good enough that he could be a starter in the rotation this year, maybe even as good as a fourth starter, which would be somewhere approaching league average, which I think the Pirates would be thrilled with if he can do that for them this year. And his most likely long-term outcome is a fifth starter, back-end guy, because he doesn't have the pitch to miss enough bats and limit contact, because we're seeing more than ever this year, if you let hitters make contact, everyone is up there trying to do damage, and you can get into trouble pretty quickly that way.
Keith, when you have a guy like Harrington who has the profile that you described in the pitch mix and the lack of top-end velocity stuff, et cetera, what is the kind of thing that they can have break their way in the major leagues that can transform them into something more? Like, what is the likeliest way he becomes something better than a fifth starter and heightens or raises that ceiling?
And you've actually seen it with Paul Skeens. It's a new pitch or a change to an existing pitch. So many clubs are working on pitch design in their pitching labs. I don't know that the Pirates really have a lot of track record with doing that. Skeens kind of came up with the splinter on his own. But a lot of teams are doing this, having guys either add a completely new pitch or alter the way they're throwing a current pitch. For Harrington, for example, if it just turns out that he can't take something off the changeup, the whole purpose of the changeup is it looks like the fastball out of the hand, comes in maybe 8 to 10 miles an hour slower, and hopefully has a little bit of typically arm side fading action to it. So the hitters think it's the fastball, and they're way out in front. And even if they do hit it, they're probably just going to hit it into the ground. If Harrington can't get that changeup to be a little more effective, maybe he's a candidate for a splitter, which serves a very similar purpose to the changeup, but you can throw it harder. It just comes in at a harder velocity. It has more movement to make up for the fact that it doesn't have the separation from the fastball. Or maybe they just change the grip on his changeup. We're seeing a lot of guys tinker with different grips to get different movement on the pitch to make up maybe for lack of velocity separation. And because Harrington is such a command guy and has had a reputation going back to college of being a guy who has very good feel for pitching, I give him a little better chance to do that versus to add a pitch or alter a pitch. Versus, your stereotypical guy out of the bullpen who just throws really hard with a good slider, doesn't have a lot of feel, doesn't throw a lot of strikes. Those guys tend to be worse candidates to have them add a pitch or alter one of their existing offerings.